Welcome to PaperTube. This is my second episode. My first one was very enjoyable to record. I'm new to vlogging, but I love watching vlogs, and I'm hoping that this brings some enjoyment to you and other people in the YouTube community. The first episode I did, I was whispering, not for dramatic effect, but because my little baby was asleep in his crib, and I didn't want to wake him, and he didn't wake up, which was really good news. Today I don't have to whisper or try to whisper because he's downstairs with his father. I recorded a short clip so I could introduce you to our little son. And here's my little Ollie. They were 4 months old, and one day we'll be quilling too. And that was Ollie, who is precious, my precious, and the reason why I do most of the things I do these days. But so back to PaperTube. I thought I would go ahead and break out some of my tools. I did in the first episode go through and unbox one thing of tools, which is really exciting. I'm on the lookout though for my special tools. I don't know where they are right now. I have a feeling they're not in what I'm about to unbox, but I am in the process of getting back into crafting after having had my first baby in September of last year, and so everything's in disarray, disorganized, and I need to put my hands on everything. I don't know if you probably have felt like that before, where you just don't know where everything is, and how could you possibly start a project when everything isn't just so. What a friend of mine said at our Thursday craft group last week was, nothing's ever going to be perfect. Everything isn't like that, most of the times you have to start a project when everything's not just so, and just go ahead with it, which is my attitude when I started the vlog. I was like, I don't have everything together, but I'm just going to jump in. And I'm glad I did. I've gotten some positive feedback so far. So, the first thing I'm going to unbox, they're not really in a box, but I packed them away in a plastic tote. Not extraordinarily well packed. But then I'm a scattered person. First thing I'm noticing is a sticker from a really cute, popular YouTuber. This I won't need for quilling, so I can put that to the side. Let's see. Stickers, you never know. Usually, unless I use them for design inspiration, I won't be including stickers. At least I haven't in the past. More stickers of that cute little kitty cat on the popular YouTube channel. Alright, so this is one of my most favorite tools for paper crafts and my quilling crafts. When I go to layer pieces of quilling onto paper, I like to use a circle cutter. This is a Martha Stewart circle cutter. It takes all of the guesswork out of making a perfect circle. And it comes with this little tool, which has very sharp end, which I have already broken the cap off of, so I have to be extra careful. I'm also clumsy, so and yet I still craft. I have all my fingers. So I'm going to go ahead and put this over on the trunk with my other tools. Let's see, in here I have just some more papers that don't really mean anything to me right now. I don't remember what they were for. Some trash, more papers, and it looks like I have some clear boxes of ephemera, or just random items that you can use in multimedia projects to add depth and color and interest. Like I have one clear box full of stamps. I really like stamps. I thought I would collect them when I was younger. I don't know if that seemed too overwhelming, even though I had everything I needed to do that. But they're just really pretty to have. But I don't know necessarily that I would use them in a quilling piece. I might maybe take one of the larger ones and quill something small on top of it. That would be fun. Like a layering piece. Maybe I'll keep that out there. I have more stamps, some Chinese money. I used to live in China and teach Chinese, Mandarin Chinese, hence why there's money from China in there. Even more stamps. Now I don't know that I need all of these, so I'm going to not include those. I have an empty one though, always needs storage. And one full of paper clips, which I have never used in quilling projects, so I'll leave that out. So what's left, very satisfying, is just baubles at the bottom of this tote. Well, cleaning out that bag felt wonderful. I was able to get rid of some junk and to find some crafting pieces that I will find useful and that I didn't know where they were for a long time. I thought I would go ahead and demonstrate some quilling now that I have my hands on some tools. Certainly not the ones that are my go-to, but I'd like to show that you don't need much of anything if you want to quill. I have my quilling tool that we found yesterday. It's just a needle on a dowel. You really don't need anything to quill. You can just use your bare fingers. But I'll use this because I have it out. You will need glue when you're quilling. So your fingers you need, and you need glue. This is Aileen's original tacky glue. You can get it online, Amazon, Michael's, places like that. I got this from my mother's crafting glue drawer. But I usually use just Elmer's white glue, or whatever white glue I have around that's not been dried out, because I usually just leave the top off and then it dries out. So anyway, we have our glue, we have our tool. In terms of a surface, I would suggest you get something like a plastic sheet protector to put together your piece on. That way when you're gluing your paper pieces together, at the end when they're dried, you can just peel them up and it won't stick to the surface. I think this is called core board. It's kind of feels like a foam. Usually if I'm not using an old piece of this, I'm using cork board. I think when you go to buy quilling kits online, cork board is the default in those kits. The reason you want some depth to what you put your page protector on is that when your designs start getting more intricate, you will begin to find use in using pins to stick them and keep them together while they're gluing. What I'm going to show you today won't need that. I mean, I could always use them, but I haven't found my pins yet, so we're not going to utilize them. Then you need paper. again, I bought paper just for having started this vlog. It is packed away somewhere, just like everything else. So let me show you an easy way to make some quilling paper. This is scrapbook paper. I got it in a pack from Michael's one year. I'm using this kind, which let me see if I have the book. Yes, I do. It's called colored core paper. The reason you would use only colored core papers and not any old scrapbooking paper pad is because there's color in the middle. Most paper, which is 3-ply at least, has white. When you rip it, you'll see that the inside of this edge is white. This, however, has a color to it. So when you do quill and your torn or cut edges are facing up towards the viewer's eye, you'll see an actual color. Sometimes I don't mind because I like to decorate the edges of my quilling with glitter, micro beads, things that are going to cover it up anyway. So I'm just going to roughly take my scissors here and cut an 1/8 of an inch strip. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it should be relatively straight. If it's not, what happens is when you twirl it, it's going to make a very pretty shape, but it's going to have, you know, extra dimension to it. Well, there's nothing wrong with that at all, and sometimes that's what you want. Sometimes you do that purposefully. So I'm not very nervous or concerned about that. So I'm going to cut maybe 6 of these using a pair of old crafting scissors that are real beat up. I think my mom might have used them somehow in candle making because there's melted crayon mixed in with glitter at the tip. Shout out to anyone whose mom does all sorts of wacky and cool crafts. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 strips. I think I'm gonna make 5 petals to a flower, and we'll pick another piece of paper for the inside of it. Let's see, that's nice and dark so you can see the color. And I have purple around, so I guess we're going to use purple for the core. Go ahead, same size, an 1/8 of an inch. And that'll be the core. Alright. So I don't need the scissors. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the pile of tools that we have already unpacked for future projects. So I have my papers here. I'm going to go ahead, put them in a pile right here. I'm going to go ahead and open my glue. Make sure it's been opened before, which it has not. I don't believe I can use those scissors to open it the way I want to, but I'll just take the cap off. Don't know why I smelled that. Let's see. What I'm doing is just pouring a big old glob. You don't want to put a small glob for while you're working. Here, let's see if you can see that. The reason being it'll dry out before you're done needing to use it. So the projects are heavy on using glue. Let's see. I could go ahead and take one of these brown pieces of paper, and I'm going to go ahead and put it on my fingertip. Okay. I'm going to pinch it. I take my tool, and I'm going to lay my tool right across the end of it, like so, Actually gonna kind of bend it over it so that it's more anchored. Gonna pinch it. Might even help it along. Let's see. We're going to try to roll it. There we go. Roll it around the tool there. So if you're using a needle, you can do the same thing. You just want to keep the paper taut. At this point, I just kind of want to take the tool off and finish it by hand. I want to apologize. This is my first how-to or tutorial looking at myself on the camera. Promises to learn and do better. Okay, so I'm going to continue just rolling the paper up. That's exactly what it is, just rolling the paper up. You see the tail of it getting shorter on the other hand. Okay. And I'm rolling, and here we go. This piece is done, and what you have at the end is a coil. And in the middle, that little hole is from the initial tool that we used. Depending on the tool, the shape and the size of that hole will vary. So I'll go ahead and put this on pause. I don't think you want to see me roll up all the rest of the pieces of paper. But I will put this down and I'm going to let it unroll. I want it to unroll. So there, I've let it go. You can see if it can focus on that. Not very well, is it? Maybe on the back or something. No. I'll have to play with that too. Well, we've let it unroll, and I'm going to pause it and do it to the other 4 pieces. So I went ahead and I fiddled with the focus on my camera, and that seems to help make the coils show up. Let me see if I can bring it up to you. Yeah, much better. I love quilling. This is officially the first quilling I've done since my baby was born. This little tutorial right here. And I just get so excited because I know these little teeny twirl pieces of paper can just, when put in certain order and arranged with different shapes, can become anything you want. And I've made them into so many different things, from portraits of dogs to scenes in a Parisian garden, underwater whales scenes, just anything my imagination could dream of, you could represent in quilling. If you haven't, you should go online and look at some quilling images and just see how creative people get with this. So I have my 5 little quilled circles. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick one up. Alright. And I'm going to take the tail, and I'm going to sort of eyeball how big I want it to be, because I mean, I could pull it taut and make it a medium-sized spiral, or I could leave it quite large. Whatever size I want with this one, I'm probably going to want all of them to be the similar size. So I'll go ahead and just make a decision on how big I want that. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use my tool right now. I usually use a toothpick or a spare pin, one of these little yellow pins people use in fabric making. But I'll go ahead and use my tool because I can clean it when the glue dries. Go ahead and take just a little drop of glue. That's a big drop of glue. I'm not going to use that whole thing. And go put some on the tail. And then I'm going to push the tail to the rest of the spiral, and just hold it there for a little bit, just a few seconds really. You'll start getting to know how fast your glue dries, and depending on the thickness of your paper, it may need more glue or may need more pressure or more time holding it in place, and you'll just sort of get more comfortable with that the more you glue. I'm pretty certain, yep, the tail's going to stay down now. It's been glued to itself. Now it's a really pretty little spiral. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to my other ones. If you're going to make a shape with your spirals, you could go ahead and when you glue your tail to it, while you're letting it dry the glue, you can press it into the shape that you want to, or you can do that after you've gone ahead and taped and glued all of the tails, and then just do it all at once. I think I'm going to do that here. Let's see. In doing these coils, in prepping, I realized how much I really missed my slotted tool, the tool I haven't found yet. It's not the easiest or quickest to use this tool. I'd like to know if any of y'all are quillers, what you think of Yulia Brodskaya. She's, I think, by far the most famous quiller in probably in the history of quilling. I don't know that any quiller was given such notoriety as she has. She does huge pieces of beautiful art that is commissioned by magazines and large companies when they're doing advertisements. Beautiful work. I've never considered it actual quilling. It just looks like piecing paper up on its side, which is, you know, you'll see this is paper up on its side, but to quill is to curl or to crimp in some cases, the paper. And she just sort of cuts a piece of paper and places it just so, and makes beautiful art. I mean, it's breathtaking. I don't know if it's jealousy or envy the reason why I'm like, oh, that's not quilling. What I do is quilling, that's not quilling. I don't know. So if you're a quiller, or not, why don't you take a look at Yulia Brodskaya. It's Y-U-L-I-A, Brodskaya, B-R-O-D-S-K-Y-A, I think so. You start putting that into Google, I'm sure it'll come up. Alright, I have my last little coil here, and I will glue its little tail. Yeah, you can do this definitely in front of a TV, like any other craft that doesn't require you to keep bent over it. I mean, and at the assemblage time you want to, but when you have all of your pieces that you're putting together, your little soldiers, as one of my jewelry instructors called them, when you have your little pieces that you're putting together before you assemble them into the larger piece, you certainly, it's monotonous, it's relaxing, you can do it while doing something else, watching entertainment. Okay, so I have these 5 coils. I'm going to go ahead and take my thumb and my pointer finger, and I'm going to pinch just one end, pinch, 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 and make a teardrop. Alright, so I have made a teardrop. I'll go ahead and do that with the other pieces. Pinch, make a teardrop, and pinch, make a teardrop. So I will have 5 teardrops that are quite large. I don't think I said that at the beginning. I think that's 12-inch paper I was using. You might want to cut it into just a couple inches. I can arrange them now and play with them. I think they'll make a pretty big brown flower. If I wanted to, I can go ahead and glue that to a card, but I think I'd like there to be a middle, so I'm going to take my purple, and my tool is with a glue on it, so I'm going to wipe that off. And just kind of wipe my fingers off, and then use it. Anchor the paper. Start bending the paper around the tool, and then by holding it tight so the paper doesn't unravel that you've already twirled, go ahead and make another cool. Take it off and do it by hand the rest of the way. I hope you found this interesting. If you've never done quilling, or if you have done quilling before, I'd love to know what you've quilled or what you're interested in quilling. I'm excited to pull out some of my inspiration for quilled projects that I haven't looked at in years, and share with you my progress on them. Alright, so here's my purple one. I'm going to let it unravel just maybe to there. That should be good center. Dip my tool back in glue. Put some on the end. Hold it together. While I'm waiting, I'll go ahead and sort of make room for it down here. Already starting to stick together a little bit. Okay. Put that in the middle. And I think I want to fill that in. What do you think? I mean, it's more child-like an illustration there without it filled in, but I could go ahead and put leaves in the middle of it. And I would go ahead and take a little drop of glue, put it at the end of my piece, and secure it to the middle. And do that with all the other pieces. So this is by no means a pattern I would go ahead and give to someone, but for demonstration purposes, voila, you have a flower. So I hope you could go along with the tutorial, or if not, do it yourself. Enjoyed watching and learning a little bit about what quilling is. A lot of rolling, pinching, gluing, waiting, and in the end something really pretty will happen. That flower, not so much, but it did make a point. It showed you what could happen. Maybe not the prettiest thing that could happen, but that something did happen by just taking a piece of paper, any old piece of paper, and cutting it and then twirling it. I've really enjoyed recording this second vlog. Thank you for tuning in. I hope it brought you some comfort or entertainment in the background of whatever else you were doing. I'm getting very excited about continuing to unbox and finding more tools, and specifically my pages of inspiration, so I can actually work on the projects that I've been looking forward to for a very long time. I hope you have a great day, and I will welcome you back to PaperTube on another episode.